Hey, what's up, everybody? Antoine Fantoine here, internet's busiest, chilliest music nerd, laying back, relaxing, back from tour, back to uploading on this channel, back to talking my shit. And I have returned with some thoughts on the new Brockhampton song Tonya, which was premiered not too long ago on Jimmy Fallon. People have been asking me on tour and all over the internet, what do I think of the song? What do I think of the song? What do I think of the song? Personally, I like it. It does seem to have split some fans, though. Like maybe the track's a little too underwhelming. Maybe still some people are upset about the whole Amir not being there thing. But in my opinion, I feel like one has to appreciate a couple of things if you're really going to kind of get something out of this song, out of this performance. One, as a group, they just went through a really tumultuous experience. And it only makes sense that they would return with a track that kind of reflected the moodiness, the sadness, the depression of them essentially going through what they had gone through, having to make the adjustments that they did, and essentially coming to this realization that the circumstances and the behavior of one of the group's members and the revelation of the truth that they alluded to in the formal announcement that they made has sort of torn at them emotionally. And again, I feel like it only makes sense that the return track would kind of represent that in a way. Certainly, there is a lyric in the song that seems like Kevin Abstract is kind of overtly referencing the incident in question, but I kind of digress into this point. Next, I feel like the other thing that one needs to appreciate here is that it is a late night talk show performance. The sound of this performance, the sound isn't really that good. However, late night talk show performances, the sound of them is typically not that good. From Jimmy Kimmel to freaking SNL, which is a cultural institution, but still, most live performances on that show don't sound all that great. Typically, the SNL band sounds fucking killer. But late night talk show performances, late night performances in general, they're not that rehearsed. The sound is typically pretty hollow. Usually they are staged in a theatrical fashion, so the performance aspect is kind of dampened a little bit, and it's more stagey than it is exciting to sort of hear or watch. And I feel like a lot of that was working against this particular track. However, from what I can kind of glean from what's been delivered so far, because again, this is not a finished product here. This is not necessarily what the studio version of the song is going to sound like too. So it's like, for those of you who are like, like you haven't even heard the CD quality version of the track yet. You don't even know what they're doing. Overall, it seems like a pretty raw performance. But all that being said, things that I really liked about the track, I liked the personal and intimate verses all over the track given by each member. I like the utilization of Bareface right at the start of the track, and I liked how he kind of changed it up a little bit too vocally, not only singing, but delivering some vocals that were in a bit more of a rap vein. I like the, excuse me, the instrumental shift at a few times, going from Jova's sung vocals to, Bareface's intro, the piano passages, the hard-hitting beat. It seems like the instrumental was shifting at different points with different members so they could provide a different thing. However, the whole thing felt very cohesive. I thought the guest singers on the track were quite nice too. Notice Serpent with Feet there. I'm looking forward to reviewing that record very soon. Overall, I thought it was just a really good, smart, emotional, multifaceted track that I don't really have anything bad to say about outside of just the usual issues that I have with late night performances in general. Like, I mean, if we hear these same bare bones elements, but put to better production, more emotional vocal performances, and just generally a better mix, then, I mean, this track is going to be, one of their better low-key tracks in a while. I see that potential. I get that for some fans who want to see Brockhampton bounce back from what just happened, like, harder than ever, crazier than ever, just like, whoa, everything's okay, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, they're going to come together with another banger or two in the future. Like, there's obviously going to be more bangers. You just got to wait and be patient for that shit. I, for one, appreciate a little bit more the fact that they went down a more emotional route and are kind of being sort of open and honest with kind of the general mood of the band right now, given just how recently it's been since they've kind of, really had to reassess their priorities, really kind of just, in the view of a lot of people, tear the group apart and kind of reorient. I mean, they've essentially put themselves in a position where they've most likely had to either scrap or reorient a lot of the album that they were working on, which is like no easy decision for any artist to make, especially an artist at Brockhampton's level, considering like how much of a bond they had all formed as that group up until this point, considering all the work they had put into the album for sure up until this point. So, I don't know. Again, just generally, I like the track. I respect the emotional position that it sits in at this point in the band's career, in their evolution. And, it doesn't really have me worried. Like, I think that, again, there is enough talent spread across the entire group for them to continue making great music. And overall, despite, what I thought was some shortcomings due to the context of the release and the performance, I still think it was a good track. I don't mind the song at all. I think it's a good cut. All right, over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next one. Anthony Fantano, Brockhampton, forever.